Will Smith just smacked the crap out of Chris Rock.
Oh, wow!
And instead of using this as an opportunity to show hilarious memes, to laugh, we can take this as a learning lesson into how to handle anger with stoicism, the right way and the wrong way. You know, they're both perfect examples. Chris Rock being an ideal stoic in this particular circumstance, and Will Smith falling short.
Get my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
I'm going to start off with a quote. Who then is invincible? The one who cannot be upset by anything outside their reasoned choice. Epictetus. You see, all this drama started out because Chris Rock, being a comedian, made a joke. And apparently the joke was about Will Smith's wife, Jada's hair. She has some sort of, I think, disease or illness or something that creates hair loss. So that's been a big insecurity of hers. So he joked about this, as most good comedians would, you know.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it.
When you're doing stand-up comedian, it's no holds barred. It's anything goes. If you watch Dave Chappelle, you know that, you know, he makes fun of anything. Initially, Will Smith laughed, but obviously his wife wasn't happy, and he then responded by striking Chris Rock. Any normal human being, if you are in Chris Rock's position, you're paid to do a job, you're performing in front of millions of people on TV, and someone comes and attacks you, your natural reaction will probably be to strike back. But he didn't do this. Chris Rock used this as an opportunity to actually make a joke. He remained completely stoic. He didn't look angry. He looked a little bit shook for a second, but then maintained his composure, which is incredibly difficult to do, especially when something as abrupt as someone striking you on the stage happens.
Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
He kept going with the flow. He kept it moving. He even managed to make a joke out of the situation.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
And this is a big part of the Stoic philosophy. You see, Stoicism is about learning to turn your obstacles into pathways for growth, pathways for transcendence. And he did just this, you know, under the greatest pressure ever, someone striking him, he managed to turn that and use that as material for his joke. He managed to keep the professionalism. He was paid to do a job, and he didn't end the whole show just because of Will Smith's anger. You know, he could see that this guy was angry because of the joke that he made. He just took it and decided that he would deal with it off stage. So this is a perfect example of how to handle things with stoicism. You know, it's not about not having emotions. We all have emotions. It's about controlling your emotions, being the one in charge, being able to decide what to do, controlling your thoughts. You know, thoughts are going to come left, right, and center that you don't want, but being able to choose what you want to enter your consciousness is the Stoic way. Now let's go over to the next lesson, and this is best explained with a quote. Anger brings about nothing grand or beautiful. On the other hand, to be constantly irritated seems to me to be the part of a languid and unhappy mind, conscious of its own feebleness. Seneca. You see, as I said before, if you watch Will, he was laughing at the joke beforehand, and only afterwards, when he looked at his wife, did he stop laughing and go up and strike Chris. You see, Will has been going through a lot of stuff. I think it was last year or 2 years ago, there was some drama because his wife and the infidelity with his son's best friend, some R&B singer. There's a lot of nonsense going on, and he has been in the public image, so naturally as a man, you're gonna feel emasculated. You're gonna feel that pressure.
And then what did you do, Jada?
Well, you know, I think from there, you know, as time went on, I got into a different kind of entanglement with August.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship.
And it looks like he suffers from quite a bit of trauma. You know, if you research trauma, there's a thing called trauma bonding, where two people through their traumas, kind of bond together and continue this toxic relationship. If I had to guess, his wife seems somewhat narcissistic. I don't know.
During that time, launched into an interaction with August. What do you feel like you were looking for?
I just wanted to feel good. It had been so long since I felt good.
And he seems like the archetypal nice guy. If you want to know more about the nice guy, read Robert Glover's book, No More Mr. Nice Guy.
A nice guy is somebody who's internalized a belief that they're not okay just as they are. And we can kind of break that down further, how we do that, how we do it as children, as babies, to start internalize that belief that there's something wrong with us. And then out of that belief develops a paradigm, a roadmap, a defense mechanism, a survival skill, whatever we want to call it, of trying to be what we believe other people want us to be in order to be approved of, to be liked, to be loved, to get our needs met, and hide anything about us that we think might get a negative reaction from people. So basically, a nice guy is a person out there, chameleon, holding his finger up, testing the air, see which way the wind's blowing, and then going that way.
It shows that he's having a bit of a crisis within himself, because his reaction wasn't purely because of him. There was something deeper there, something darker happening. And, to me, it didn't look like he was actually angry. It looked like he was hurt. And then you could see him actually looking very emotional, Will Smith, and crying. So this was more of a hurt response, more of an impulsive response, an amygdala hijack than a deliberate, act of anger. So that's a powerful quote there by Seneca. It shows an unhappy mind. If you're unable to control your emotions, if you're constantly getting irritated, constantly getting angry and snapping at people, there's usually something deeper under the surface that you have to deal with. And once you deal with that, the anger will dissipate. The third Stoic lesson here is by Marcus Aurelius. And Marcus says, "How much more harmful are the consequences of anger and grief than the circumstances that arouse them in us?" Typically, when we get angry and we do something stupid, the consequences are worse than whatever it was that initially made us angry. Maybe you're in a relationship and something irritates you and you snap on your partner and then you break up and now you're depressed because things went south. So we don't think about the consequences in the moment, we just react, and it turns out to be really bad. And in Will Smith's case, the Academy actually considered kicking him out of the event and not allowing him to return, and he ended up winning the Oscar that night. So that would have been a big blow to his career, losing the Oscar over something so random, so stupid, that could have been dealt with in other ways. He might not have been invited. He might still not be invited next year or the years to come, just because people are now afraid that he might cause a scene. He's obviously damaged his reputation for a lot of people through these actions, and his friendship with Chris Rock is likely not to be repaired. So as you can see, uncontrolled anger is madness. You need to learn to tame it. And this can be done through Stoicism, through the Stoic philosophy. Something I teach on this channel, so check out the playlist on Stoicism if you want to learn more. So the three big takeaways here is that you can choose your response. You don't have to respond in the, typical way to anything that might be troublesome. As a Stoic, you have options. Chris Rock exemplified this perfectly. The second thing is anger often shows an uneasy mind. If you're constantly angry and irritated and snapping at random things, there's deeper issues at play. And the third thing is the things that cause us anger often are nowhere near as bad as the consequences of it. So if you understand those three things, you will overcome anger. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate you. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell notifications so we can see more of each other. Until next time.